Good morning, my loves. So today I want to talk to you about the upcoming full moon in Sagittarius based on each rising sign. And we will begin with Aries and I think we will go to Leo, and then tomorrow we continue with Virgo. But before we start, I want to remind you that I have a YouTube video that describes the energies, the general energies of this Sagittarius full moon. And it will also give you an insight in what is possible for the collective at this time. I didn't talk about the conjunction between the North Node and Jupiter in that video, even though it is happening around the same time. It is happening on the 2nd and 3rd of June, and the full moon is on the 3rd and the 4th of June. 3rd of June if you're in America. For everyone else, it's going to be the 4th. So before I get into the rising signs, I want to talk about this conjunction between Jupiter and the North Node, because I think it's relevant, as Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And Jupiter is now in Taurus, where he is following on the footsteps of Uranus. So Uranus has been in Taurus for a minute now, and we've all experienced the lessons that Uranus in Taurus is trying to teach us. Some of us have learned them yet, others might need a bit more time. So Uranus is in 19 degrees right now. It will enter 20 degrees in June. And Jupiter is at the time of this full moon in 2 degrees of Taurus. And that's where it will meet with the North Node, 2 degrees of Taurus. Now the North Node, as you know, is where we are heading. It's our karmic potential in this lifetime. And the South Node is describing what we brought with us, what is very natural to us, what we express without thinking, what comes easy to us. And the idea here is to start becoming conscious of the South Node energy and then integrating it in a way that helps us to reach the North Node potential, because this is an axis, right? There's an axis. One side is, let's say, Aquarius, the other side is Leo. And these two work together, even though they are opposites. But they complement each other. And you have to find that sweet spot for you in your life. And when we look at this current situation where we have the South Node in Sagittarius, the North Node not in Sagittarius, the South Node in Scorpio, and the North Node in Taurus, we're talking about the physical world. We're talking about the world of senses, the world of understanding how to connect the body with the mind. Because let's face it, if we wouldn't have our senses, we wouldn't experience the body. We only experience the body because we have our senses, right? We hear our ear. It's like if you just take the anatomy of the ear, that ear itself is not hearing. You need to connect it through the senses that then connects it with the mind. And the mind then knows, oh, I just heard this, or I just felt this, whatever it is in your body. This axis between why do I always want to say Sagittarius? Between Scorpio and Taurus also connects us with the physical world. It's how we move in this physical world, how we manifest in this physical world. It is telling us a lot about the values that we base our lives upon. And those values are up for, well, they're up for a checkup. There's a checkup necessary with the North Node in Taurus. Where are you heading? And are your values, the values you're basing your life upon, are they taking you there? Or do you have to adjust something there? Now, when Jupiter, the ruler of this full moon, meets the North Node, it will expand the desire. It will expand the desire of going where you know you can go, where you know you will become your next version self. And this full moon will illuminate all of this. So the intensity is going to be, it's going to be big this weekend when it comes to your understanding of where you're heading in this life, where you want to go, and what is actually in your way. Because there's something that you first have to overcome and integrate so you can then move forward. And that is what the South Node is trying to teach us. The South Node is saying, okay, something's got to give here. Something's got to give. What is it? What's got to give? What do you need to let go of that you're holding on so tightly, that you're obsessing over? Scorpio. What is it? Become clear of what that is, and then allow it to find its place so it can help you move forward. So you're not just going around in the same circle. Now let's talk about the rising signs. So I think I'm going to add a timestamp so that each rising sign can just jump right there. So if you're, I don't know, a Leo rising, you can just jump to the time stamp that is for Leo. But let's start with Aries. Aries, I would say, Aries rising, you are probably the luckiest ones on this full moon. But Leos, you're pretty close, and then you Sagittarius too. But Aries rising, lovely aspect. So this moon happens in your 9th house. The 9th house is the house of expansion. It's a very natural place for Sagittarius to be. Feels at home there, right? It's a natural understanding that Sagittarius has with the 9th house. It's the house of expansion, exploration, where we go out into the world to discover the world, but at the same time, right, discover ourselves. And you may as well plan a trip, a long distance trip somewhere. Maybe you're going on a trip this weekend, but traveling is definitely going to be on your mind. Also, higher learning, like wanting to know more, wanting to understand more, like stimulating the mind. It may be a course that you want to take, or maybe you want to teach a course, because the 9th house is also the house of the guru and the disciple, the guru and the teacher. The teacher and the student. So maybe it's time for you to teach what you've learned so far. Let other people benefit from your knowledge. The belief system is also part of the 9th house, the belief system including religion. So there might be changes in your belief system. You might come to understand, because we're talking about a full moon here, you might come to understand that a belief that you've had isn't serving you anymore, and you will have to release it and replace it with a belief that actually serves you going forward. There's also a beautiful trine between the 9th house and the 5th house, Leo, for you, where Mars is currently moving through. And Mars is trining that full moon. And it is also trining your ascendant. So there is an harmonious flow in your chart right now that can help you quantum leap. Not just going, the next step, but moving ahead, jumping ahead. But what you need is clarity. You need to be clear about where you're going. You need to be clear about what you want, what values you base your life upon, what is valuable for you, and how does that then manifest in your life. Once you're clear, you can really take this to the next level. The 5th house is the house of creation. It's the house of children. So if that is part of your quote unquote agenda, beautiful time to make babies right now. Beautiful time. Also, your creative self-expression. Maybe you want to bring it out in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe you want to get something off the ground, something that is inside you. You want to bring it out. Also, a wonderful, wonderful time right now, because this is fire. We are these are 3 fire signs coming together in an harmonious aspect. There is really no stopping you right now. The only one that can stop you right now is you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now for Taurus and Taurus Rising. My lovely Taurus, you are experiencing this full moon energy in your 8th house. The 8th house is a relationship house, but it is also a part of the financial axis. It is other people's money. It is also known as the house of death and rebirth. And this usually refers to some kind of ego death, like a part of you that you've been trying to put into a box, hide away, put into the closet. No one should see it. That part of you needs to come out. It needs to be seen. It needs to be seen by you, recognized. And then you can integrate it and release what doesn't work for you anymore. And this full moon will make this very clear to you. It will not be everything that you're hiding in the closet that comes out at once, but there will be a thing or two, and you might already have an idea of what that is. What inside you is trying to make itself heard. And you're like, no, not listening. And in the outer world, this could present itself as your significant other, triggering the hell out of you. And it is also to show you that there's something that needs to be allowed in the open, out there in the open. You will have this Mars Leo energy in your 4th house. And that is your home. That is your most private area. It's where you live. It can be relating to your physical home, but it can also relate to your family. So something in your family, in your personal life, can help you getting to the bottom of things, can help you to open up what needs to open up within you. There's this beautiful trine between the 4th house and the 8th house. And that trine is an easy flow of energy. We're having fire energy here. Both are fire signs. So that fire energy can be the initiator that just gets it out there. And then it's there for you to see. It might not be pleasant. It might not look pretty, but it's out there and you can now work with it. So Gemini Rising, my lovely Geminis, you are experiencing this full moon. And I'm laughing because every time the 7th house comes up, I'm smiling because it's a very current energy for me. the 7th house. So you will have this full moon in the 7th house. The 7th house is the house of the other. It's where you meet the other and where the other reflects back to you. It's your mirror, basically. And in the outer world, it represents one-on-one relationships, and particularly the relationship that you have with your life partner, if you have a life partner, or a husband, or a wife, or a long-term boyfriend, whatever you call it. But it can also relate to a very close friend or a business partner. So something in this area is going to be illuminated for you. Something in this area is going to become clearer for you. You're going to see something that maybe you didn't really want it to see, but now it's there. Now you see it. And now what are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? The beautiful thing is that you have the help of Leo in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is communication. It's the house of social interaction. So communication can help you with whatever you've discovered on this full moon, in your partnership, in a friendship, in a business relationship. And social interaction can as well. Maybe you need to get out and just spend some time with people that, you can just have fun with. The 3rd house is also a place of learning, and learning on a very basic level. So how can that now relate to whatever you discovered in your 7th house? Is there something new to learn for you? Something that was very basic, but you've kind of missed it in your upbringing. You didn't have it in your upbringing. Now you're learning it through that relationship. So it might not be the easiest of moons for you, but it will be a very rewarding one. And if you truly trust whatever you have discovered, and you trust yourself with the decision you are making because of it, this moon can quantum leap you. It can take you to the next level in relationship. So next one is Cancer and Cancer Rising. My lovely Cancers, how are you doing? This is going to be a full moon that is illuminating something in the area of your day-to-day routine and also in the area of your health. It is supported by Mars in your 2nd house. The 2nd house is the house of values, the house of your valuables, the house of your belongings. It's also a money house. And there are multiple ways that this can unfold depending on everyone's individual life. But let's just say there is something discovered when it comes to your health. Something needs to change. You need to change your lifestyle. You need to change your day-to-day routine. You got to ask yourself, which values or what kind of values have you based your life upon until now? And has that contributed to what is happening? And how can you now change it? When you adapt the principles and the values you base your life upon, how can that then shift your life, your health, and your day-to-day life? Maybe you always had to go to an office, and maybe you're done with that. Maybe you want to work from home. Maybe you have to have that conversation. So whatever you discover, my lovely Cancer, make sure you get the lesson and you adapt to what is necessary in your life. Because every full moon is a pinnacle. Every full moon is showing us, okay, so this is where you're at now. You've reached the top of the mountain. There are other mountains around there. If you want to go up those mountains, you need to let go of something. You need to adjust something in your life. But before you do that, you got to take some time to yourself. You got to rejuvenate. You got to relax, release, and then you can begin again. Now Leo and Leo Rising. My lovely Leos. This full moon is going to occur in one of my favorite houses, the 5th house. So you're one of the lucky ones, my lovely Leos. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moon for you. It is supporting any entrepreneurial adventures or ventures or adventures. It is supporting the creative process, your creative self-expression. And it is also supporting babies. If that is something you are desiring right now, if this is something you want in your life, now is a beautiful time. That beautiful trine between the 1st house and the 5th house. 1st house meaning you have Leo there, And Mars is in Leo right now, and Mars is trining your 5th house where the full moon occurs. That harmonious aspect makes it easier to flow. So there is no trying, it's not like, oh, let's try. No, it just flows. It's that all you have to do now is allow. There's no trying, there's just allowing, which sometimes is not as easy because we were never taught to just allow. We were always taught to go after things and to do and to try this and then try that and try that. Just receive. Allow yourself to receive and definitely enjoy this wonderful full moon.